My beloved child, I know there were many moments where you questioned my timing, moments where you prayed and heard nothing, moments where you waited so long that hope itself began to feel painful. You asked me questions in the quiet that nobody else heard. Why is this taking so long? Why does everyone else seem to move forward while I remain stuck? Why do doors keep closing? Why does my life feel delayed? And my child, I heard every one of those questions, even the ones you asked with tears, even the ones you whispered in frustration, even the ones spoken through silence alone. But listen carefully tonight. Your waiting season was never punishment. It was preparation. As it is written, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. You believed the waiting meant nothing was happening, but beneath the surface, everything was happening. I was preparing places your eyes could not yet see, preparing people, preparing doors, preparing your spirit, preparing your heart for blessings that would have crushed the old version of you. Because, my child, if I had released certain things too early, they would have become burdens instead of blessings. You prayed for increase, but your soul first needed healing. You prayed for open doors, but your discernment first needed sharpening. You prayed for love, but your heart first needed restoration from the wounds that taught you to settle for less than you deserved. The waiting was never wasted, even when it hurt. Even when it confused you, even when it exhausted your faith. My beloved child, there were seasons where I intentionally slowed your life down because your spirit was too wounded to carry what was coming next. You thought the delays meant I forgot you, but sometimes delays are mercy in disguise. There were things you begged me for that would have destroyed your peace had they arrived too soon. People you chased who would have broken your spirit even deeper. Opportunities you thought you missed that would have led you far away from your purpose. Places you wanted to enter that were never aligned with your future. But because you could not yet see the full picture, you mourned what heaven was protecting you from. And still, I remained patient with your pain, because I knew one day you would understand. My child, waiting seasons reveal what truly lives inside the heart. Waiting reveals fears hidden beneath confidence. Waiting exposes attachments you did not realize controlled you. Waiting teaches whether your trust depends on immediate results or on me. And I know there were moments where the silence became almost unbearable. Moments where you looked around and wondered if your life would ever move forward again. You watched others celebrate while secretly fighting disappointment within yourself. You smiled for people while quietly wondering when your own breakthrough would finally arrive. And eventually, part of you became afraid to hope too much anymore, because disappointment repeated itself too many times. You started protecting yourself emotionally by expecting less, dreaming less, trusting less, believing less. But my beloved, I never asked you to bury your hope. I only asked you to place your hope in the right hands. Because human timing often rushes toward things that temporary emotions desire. But my timing protects eternal things within you. Do you understand, my child? I was not trying to deny you. I was trying to prepare you. There is a difference. The farmer does not plant seeds one day and expect harvest the next morning. Roots must first grow in hidden places. And hidden growth is still growth, even when nobody sees it. Even when nothing outward appears to change. Your spirit was developing roots during the waiting season. Roots of wisdom, roots of endurance, roots of discernment. Roots deep enough to survive the storms connected to your future calling. Because what I am bringing into your life next cannot be sustained by shallow foundations. And my beloved child, there were also things inside you that needed to break before your next season could begin. The fear of rejection, the dependence on human approval, the belief that your worth depended on success, the need to control every outcome. Waiting exposed those hidden chains, and though painful, exposure is often the beginning of healing. You thought the waiting season was killing you, But in truth, it was transforming you. There are versions of yourself you are slowly outgrowing right now. Versions built from survival, versions shaped by fear, versions taught to expect abandonment. And though transformation feels uncomfortable, it is necessary. Because the future prepared for you requires a healed spirit, not just answered prayers. Listen closely now. The enemy wanted the waiting season to make you quit. He wanted exhaustion to convince you that nothing would ever change. He wanted repeated disappointments to make you emotionally numb. Because if he could kill your expectation, he could keep you trapped forever in the middle of transition. But my child, you are still here, still listening, still searching for hope, still fighting to believe even after everything you survived. And heaven sees that, heaven honors that. Even your smallest remaining faith matters to me. As it is written, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed. Matthew 17:20. You keep judging yourself for not being stronger, yet you do not realize how much strength it already took simply to survive what you survived. Some people would have completely surrendered under the weight you carried. But somehow, even wounded, you kept moving. That was not weakness, that was grace sustaining you. My beloved child, the waiting season also taught you who truly walks beside you. When blessings disappeared, when your energy became low, when life stopped looking impressive, certain people disappeared too. And though that rejection hurt deeply, it revealed truths you needed to see. Not everyone assigned themselves permission to stay in your future. Some people loved convenience more than connection. Some loved what you provided more than who you truly were. But I removed what could not grow with you, even when it broke your heart temporarily, because your next season requires peace more than performance. It requires alignment more than approval. It requires depth more than appearances. And slowly, you are beginning to understand that now. But listen carefully, my beloved, the waiting season is ending. Not because you became perfect, not because you finally earned love, not because you stopped struggling, but because transformation has already begun within you. The version of you entering this next season is wiser than before, more discerning than before, more spiritually awake than before. You are no longer the same person who entered the wilderness. The waiting changed you, and soon you will realize why heaven refused to let you settle for smaller things, because what is coming carries more purpose than you imagined. But before the breakthrough fully arrives, there is one dream buried deep inside you that God is about to awaken again, and this next part may completely change how you see your future. If you still believe God has not forgotten your season of waiting, type Amen in the comments and subscribe to stay connected to these messages of hope and restoration. Because your story is not over yet, my child, not even close. My beloved child, there is something hidden deep within your heart that you stopped speaking about a long time ago. A dream, a hope, a vision for your life that once burned brightly inside you. There was a time when you believed things would become different, a time when your spirit carried expectation. You imagined healing, you imagined peace. You imagined becoming the version of yourself you knew existed somewhere deep inside. But life happened. Disappointment happened, delay happened, people happened, and slowly, the dream began fading beneath the weight of reality. You stopped talking about it because it hurt too much to hope again. You buried it quietly where nobody else could see it. Even you tried to stop thinking about it, because every time hope returned, fear immediately followed behind it. Fear of disappointment, fear of rejection, fear that maybe you were asking for too much, fear that maybe your moment would never come. So instead of risking another heartbreak, you learned to survive without expectation. But listen carefully tonight, my beloved. What you buried is not dead. It is waiting, as it is written, Lazarus, come forth. John 11:43. The same voice that called life out of the grave is still speaking over your future now. And what appears lifeless to human eyes is never beyond my reach. My child, you thought silence meant abandonment. You thought delay meant denial. You thought because nothing changed immediately, the promise had disappeared forever. But heaven does not measure time the way human fear does. There are things I allow to rest underground before bringing them back stronger than before. Seeds buried beneath the soil look dead to people who do not understand growth. Yet hidden beneath the darkness, life is quietly developing. Roots are forming. Strength is forming. Preparation is happening in places no one can see. And my beloved, that is exactly what has been happening within you. The dream you buried has been growing roots in secret places, even during your hardest seasons, even while you cried, even while you doubted yourself, even while you questioned whether your life would ever truly change. I was still working beneath the surface. My child, I know there were moments you became embarrassed by your own hope. You looked around and saw others moving forward while your life seemed paused. You watched people receive what you had prayed for. You watched doors open for others while yours remained closed. And eventually, comparison exhausted your spirit. You began wondering if maybe blessings were meant for everyone except you. But hear me clearly tonight, your delay was not your rejection. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified from the future I spoke over your life. You simply cannot see the full picture yet. My beloved child, some dreams had to be purified before they could fully bloom, because not every dream begins from a healed heart. Some of your desires were connected to wounds you had not yet faced. You wanted certain relationships because you feared loneliness. You chased certain achievements because you hoped success would finally make you feel worthy. You sought validation from people because deep inside you still doubted your own value. But I love you too much to build your future on broken foundations. So before certain blessings arrived, healing had to happen first. Do you understand now? The delay was not punishment. It was protection. Because if I had given you everything when you first demanded it, you would have entered your next season carrying unresolved pain into places meant for peace. And pain carried into blessing eventually turns blessing into burden. So I waited, not because I forgot you, but because I was healing parts of you that your future depends on. My child, there are dreams inside you that still belong to your destiny. Dreams you assumed were over. Dreams you stopped praying about. Dreams you buried beneath disappointment, yet heaven never buried them. I still remember every tear connected to those prayers, every sleepless night, every moment you whispered, maybe it's too late for me. And tonight, I am asking you to stop speaking death over what I still call alive, because your story is not finished, not even close. There is still purpose unfolding in places you thought were empty. There is still life growing where you only saw delay. And yes, I know trusting again feels difficult, because disappointment taught you to guard your heart carefully. You became afraid of expecting too much, afraid of believing too deeply, afraid of reopening wounds that never fully healed. But my beloved, fear was never meant to become your protector. Fear only keeps you emotionally trapped inside old seasons. You cannot step into restoration while constantly expecting destruction. You cannot receive peace while feeding hopelessness every day. And that is exactly why darkness fought so hard to kill your expectation. Because expectation is connected to faith, and faith terrifies the enemy. The moment you begin believing again, the moment your spirit starts awakening again, the moment hope starts breathing again, heaven begins moving in ways you cannot yet see. My beloved child, there were many times you misunderstood what was happening in your life. You thought closed doors meant failure, but some closed doors were rescuing you from counterfeit futures. You thought heartbreak meant destruction, but some heartbreaks removed people who could never carry your destiny with you. You thought waiting meant nothing was changing, But hidden transformation was already happening beneath the surface. Even now, your soul is becoming stronger than you realize, wiser than before, more discerning than before, more spiritually awake than before. The old version of you would not have survived the future prepared for you. That is why the process became necessary. And yes, sometimes the process felt lonely, because growth often happens in hidden places. But hidden does not mean abandoned. Remember Joseph, my child. He carried dreams from heaven, yet found himself betrayed, rejected, and thrown into a pit before ever reaching the palace. Imagine how impossible the promise must have seemed while sitting in darkness. Imagine how many times he questioned whether the dream was truly real. Yet the pit was not the end of the story. The prison was not the end of the story. Delay was not the end of the story. Preparation was happening. And my beloved, preparation is happening in your life too, right now, even in places you still do not fully understand. There are pieces moving behind the scenes, people being aligned, doors being prepared, healing unfolding within your spirit. The version of you rising from this season will not resemble the fearful person who entered it, because suffering refined you, waiting deepened you. Pain awakened parts of your soul that comfort never could. And one day soon, you will realize the dream did not die. It transformed into something deeper, stronger, more aligned with your true purpose. But listen carefully now. The enemy knows something is beginning to awaken inside you again. That is why fear keeps trying to return. That is why discouragement whispers louder whenever hope begins rising within your spirit. Because darkness is terrified of what happens when you finally believe again. Terrified of what happens when your soul remembers who you are. Terrified of what happens when the buried dream begins breathing again. And my beloved child, that awakening has already started. Quietly, slowly, powerfully. The tears did not destroy your destiny. The delays did not cancel your future. And the dream you buried in pain is still alive in my hands. But what happens next is the part your enemies never expected. My beloved child, I know there are still names that hurt your heart when you remember them. People you trusted, people you loved sincerely, people you believed would stay beside you no matter what happened, yet somehow they still walked away. And even now, part of you continues replaying those moments in your mind. The unanswered messages, the sudden distance, the coldness that replaced closeness, the silence that arrived without explanation. You keep asking yourself what changed, what you did wrong, why people who once promised loyalty suddenly became strangers. And my child, I know how deeply that wounded you because you loved with honesty. You gave your time, your energy, your patience, your heart. You stayed when others would have left. You forgave more than people realized. You carried relationships on your shoulders long after they became heavy. And when those connections finally broke apart, something inside you broke too. But listen carefully tonight, my beloved. Not everyone who leaves your life is a loss. Some departures are divine redirections. As it is written, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Genesis 50:20. What you thought destroyed you, I was already preparing to use for your healing. My child, there are people who were assigned to only one chapter of your life, not your entire journey. But because your heart is loyal, you kept trying to force permanent connections out of temporary assignments. You kept praying for relationships to survive long after peace had already left them. You kept trying to save people who were slowly draining your spirit. You kept carrying emotional burdens that were never yours to carry alone. And eventually, your soul became exhausted, because love without peace becomes emotional captivity. But my beloved, I never created you to lose yourself trying to keep everyone else comfortable. Some people left because they could not grow where I was taking you. Some left because your healing exposed their darkness. Some left because they benefited from the wounded version of you, but became uncomfortable once you started changing. And yes, that truth hurts, because part of you still misses people who no longer align with your future. Part of you still longs for explanations, still wonders if reconciliation could have happened, still grieves what could have been. But hear me clearly now. If someone had to destroy your peace in order to stay in your life, their departure was necessary. My child, there were relationships you cried over that heaven had already released. You thought the separation meant your life was falling apart. But often, I was removing distractions before your breakthrough, because not everyone can follow you into your next season. Some people are connected to old versions of you that no longer exist. The fearful version, the insecure version, the version willing to settle for less than you deserved. But you are changing now, quietly, deeply, spiritually. And the more you heal, the more certain connections begin falling away naturally, not because you became unlovable, but because your spirit is no longer comfortable in places that dishonor your peace. My beloved child, you spent too much time blaming yourself for the behavior of wounded people. You apologized for being hurt. You over-explained your feelings. You carried guilt for problems you did not create. And slowly, rejection started shaping the way you saw yourself. You began wondering if you were too emotional, too sensitive, too difficult to love. But my child, your capacity to love deeply was never your weakness. Your weakness was believing you had to earn love by sacrificing your own peace. And that is what I am healing within you now. Because real love does not constantly leave you anxious. Real love does not repeatedly wound your spirit and call it normal. Real love does not disappear the moment life becomes difficult. I know some abandonments still echo painfully within your soul. The parent who failed you, the friend who betrayed you, the person who promised forever and then vanished, the people who only loved you when you were useful to them. You carry those memories quietly, and sometimes they still affect the way you trust others today. But listen carefully now, my beloved. Their inability to love you correctly was never proof that you were unworthy of love. It was proof of their own brokenness. You were measuring your value through the hands of people who were never healed enough to hold your heart properly. And because of that, you accepted pain that heaven never intended to become permanent. But that season is ending. You are no longer required to chase people who repeatedly choose distance from you. You are no longer required to beg for consistency. You are no longer required to shrink yourself just to keep others comfortable. Because the version of you rising now understands something important. Peace is holy, and anything constantly stealing your peace cannot remain forever. My child, some people left because they were attached to your wounds, not your purpose. They understood the broken version of you better than the healed version emerging now. Your healing challenged them. Your growth exposed them. Your awakening forced them to confront truths they wanted to avoid. So instead of growing with you, they withdrew from you, and yes, that hurt deeply, because part of you expected loyalty from people who were only comfortable while you remained wounded. But hear me now. Do not grieve too long over people who abandoned the assignment to love you correctly, because I am still preparing connections aligned with your future. People who bring peace instead of confusion. People who pray for your healing instead of feeding your insecurity. People who celebrate your growth instead of secretly resenting it. People who stay consistent when life becomes difficult. But before those connections fully arrive, you must stop reopening doors I already closed. My beloved child, there are conversations you keep replaying that are no longer connected to your future. There are people you continue missing who were only meant to teach you temporary lessons. There are memories you keep revisiting that are slowing down your healing. And tonight, I am asking you to release them, not because the pain was fake, not because the love was meaningless, but because your destiny cannot grow while your heart remains chained to old seasons. You cannot fully receive new peace while constantly grieving expired connections. And I know letting go feels difficult, because endings often feel like personal failure. But sometimes endings are acts of mercy. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers before reaching the palace. David was rejected before becoming king. Jesus himself was abandoned by people who once walked beside him. So why do you believe rejection means your life has lost purpose? My beloved, rejection often redirects people toward destiny, and the people who left your life created room for the people who are meant to arrive next. This separation is not destroying you, it is repositioning you. Even now, your spirit is learning discernment, learning boundaries, learning that not everyone deserves unlimited access to your heart, and that wisdom will protect your future in ways you cannot yet imagine. But listen closely now. The enemy hoped abandonment would make you hard-hearted. He hoped betrayal would make you stop trusting completely. He hoped heartbreak would convince you that isolation was safer than connection. But healing is still coming. Real love is still possible. Peaceful relationships still exist. And your story is not ending in loneliness. It is transitioning into wisdom, so release the guilt. Release the need for closure from people unwilling to give it. Release the burden of trying to understand every betrayal. Some answers only become clear with distance. And one day, my child, you will thank me for the people I removed. Because what I am preparing next requires room to grow. If you are ready to leave the past behind and step into healing, type yes in the comments and share this message with someone who is still grieving people God already removed from their life. Because what happens next is the moment your spirit finally begins changing from the inside out. My beloved child, tonight is different. Not because your entire life suddenly changed in a single moment, not because every problem instantly disappeared, but because something deeper has started happening within you. Something quiet, something holy, something irreversible. Tonight, I begin changing you from the inside out. As it is written, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. My child, real transformation rarely begins where people can see it. It begins in hidden places, in thoughts, in wounds, in beliefs carried silently for years. And for a long time, your inner world has been exhausted. You survived externally while struggling internally. You kept functioning while secretly falling apart emotionally. You carried old pain into new seasons and called it strength. But survival is no longer enough for where I am leading you. I am not merely teaching you how to endure life. I am teaching you how to live again. That is why things have felt strange lately. Why old habits no longer satisfy you. Why certain environments suddenly drain you. Why your spirit has become restless in places where you once felt comfortable. Because the version of you built through fear can no longer survive the future I am preparing. You are changing, even now, quietly, deeply, spiritually, my beloved child. Transformation often begins with discomfort, because healing exposes what pain tried to hide. You are beginning to notice how much exhaustion you normalized. How much anxiety became part of your daily thinking. How much self-doubt shaped the way you viewed yourself. And now, your spirit is resisting those chains. You no longer want temporary distractions. You no longer want relationships built on inconsistency. You no longer want to live constantly overwhelmed and emotionally drained. Part of you still fears change. But another part of you knows you cannot keep living the old way anymore. That inner conflict you feel is not failure, it is awakening. The old version of you is slowly dying. The fearful version. The people-pleasing version. The version that accepted less than peace because loneliness felt scarier than pain. The version that kept shrinking itself just to avoid rejection. My child, I never created you to disappear inside your own life. I created you to walk in freedom, and freedom begins the moment truth enters the places fear once controlled. Listen carefully now. Transformation does not happen by pretending wounds never existed. It happens by finally allowing me into those wounded places. the memories you avoid, the disappointments you buried, the rejection you still carry quietly, the shame you never speak about. I am entering those places now, not to condemn you, not to shame you, but to heal you. My beloved child, there are lies you believed for so long that they started sounding like truth. You are not enough. You always ruin things. You will never fully heal. You are too broken. No one will truly stay. Those voices repeated themselves through pain until they became familiar. But familiar does not mean true. And tonight, I am breaking agreements you unknowingly made with fear. Because you cannot walk into peace while constantly speaking destruction over yourself. Do you understand? The battle was never only around your circumstances. The battle targeted your identity. Because if darkness could control how you saw yourself, it could control how you lived. That is why shame kept following you, why comparison kept exhausting you, why fear kept convincing you to stay small. But my beloved, you are not who your pain said you were. You are not who rejection said you were. You are not who betrayal made you believe you were. You are who I say you are, chosen, loved, seen, protected. And slowly, your spirit is beginning to remember that again. This transformation will not always feel dramatic. Sometimes healing feels like finally sleeping peacefully after months of anxiety. Sometimes it feels like no longer needing validation from people who ignored your worth. Sometimes it feels like silence no longer frightening you. Sometimes it feels like waking up and realizing you no longer hate yourself the way you once did. Healing often begins softly, quietly, like light entering a dark room little by little. And my child, that light is already entering your spirit now. You may still cry sometimes, you may still struggle some days. You may still feel moments of fear, but something is different now. The fear no longer owns you completely. The pain no longer defines you completely. The darkness no longer controls your entire identity. Because I am rebuilding you, and rebuilding takes time. A broken foundation cannot support a peaceful future. So before your outer life fully changes, your inner life must become stronger. That is why I am teaching you stillness, teaching you discernment, teaching you boundaries, teaching you how to stop abandoning yourself just to keep others comfortable. My beloved child, you spent years carrying emotional burdens that never belonged to you, trying to rescue everyone, trying to fix everything, trying to earn love through sacrifice. But I am teaching you now that peace is not selfish, rest is not weakness, and protecting your spirit is not wrong. You do not have to explain your healing to people committed to misunderstanding you. You do not have to stay in places destroying your mental and spiritual peace. And you do not have to keep apologizing for becoming who I created you to be. Because the more you heal, the more clearly you will see. You will begin noticing what drains your spirit, what manipulates your emotions, what pulls you away from peace, and slowly, you will stop entertaining things that once kept you trapped. My child, tonight marks the beginning of emotional freedom you once believed was impossible. Not perfect freedom overnight, but real transformation. The kind that changes how you think, how you love, how you see yourself, how you respond to pain, how you trust me. And yes, there will still be moments where the old version of you tries to return. Moments where fear whispers familiar lies again. Moments where anxiety tries to reclaim space inside your thoughts. But now you are becoming aware of the battle, and awareness changes everything, because you no longer believe every thought that enters your mind. You no longer allow every emotion to control your decisions. You are learning to recognize my voice beneath the noise, and my voice leads toward peace, always. As it is written, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. My beloved child, the miracle beginning tonight is not only external, it is internal. I am healing your thinking, healing your identity, healing your relationship with yourself, healing the exhausted places within your soul. And one day soon, people will notice something different about you, not because you became louder, not because you became perfect, but because peace will begin resting on you differently. The same person who once lived overwhelmed by fear will suddenly carry quiet strength. The same person who once begged for love will walk confidently in self-worth. The same person who once felt emotionally shattered will become a source of healing for others. Because pain transformed through my hands becomes wisdom, and wisdom transformed through healing becomes light. But listen closely now, my beloved. As your spirit changes, heaven is also preparing something unexpected ahead of you. A door, an opportunity, a breakthrough you cannot yet fully see. And what happens next will reveal why this entire painful process was necessary from the very beginning.